Hi, this is Brian Terry here from pixelstoprofits.com, and over the next 15 minutes or so I'm going to help you lay down the foundations that are going to help you create more fantastic looking profit pulling websites. By studying these designs carefully and following my notes, I hope to give you a unique insight into the design formulas I personally use every day. In the next few lessons we're going to get into going through exactly how designs like these are created using the software tools I recommend. Simply follow my lead by watching this video and I'll give you a unique behind the scenes view on what it takes to create some great looking, highly responsive web graphics. Every design I create is based upon an invisible grid structure. In this case the header design is broken into 3 vertical sections. Section 1, Section 2 and Section 3. For some reason, if you used 4 sections, the design just wouldn't work. So when you're designing your headers and 3D covers or any other kind of graphics that you need on your website, bear this in mind. Keep your graphic elements to no more than 3 where possible. You might get lucky with 4, but it would be an exception rather than the rule. Here's another example of the 3 elements within an invisible grid. Can you see them? It's very simple. People like to see people, so whenever you can, or it seems most appropriate, use pictures of people. And what I found is that when you're creating header panels like in the example you see here, and also with ebook covers, etc., when you use cutouts of photos, they seem to work better purely because they are easier to blend into the background of the design itself and integrate it all into the design as you see here. Sometimes it can help to show the grid structure you use, as in this example. The white lines help to break up each area and assist in keeping the design looking fresh and contemporary. A common mistake people make in their designs is they make things too complicated or get too carried away with all the fancy Photoshop filters you can get. The thing is, when you're designing graphics for the web, quite often less is more, because at the end of the day you don't want to distract people from the headline of the main sales page. Really the header panel is just as a way of establishing a theme for the page. So keep things simple like in this example and you won't go wrong. To add extra depth to design, try fading images by experimenting with their opacity. This is what I did here with the $100 bill that you'll see in the background to the left of the photo of the people. By contrasting the size of the images you use, it'll also make your design look more interesting and appealing. So take a careful look at what I've done here and you'll see that the image on the right hand side is quite small compared to the bulk of the image on the left. So that's just a nice contrast to use. And also look at the colours in the photo. That can make a big impact. And in this example we see the shirt of the guy in the picture is of a light blue, which complements the oranges and the red of the rest of the design. So keep these things in mind. Now this design is slightly different from the previous examples in that I've turned the grid around the other way. So instead of dividing the design up into vertical sections, it's all done horizontal. So you see how adding a background image to the whole design gives it all more depth. And if you look closely you'll see that it's like a bitmapped image of a screen area, so it again ties it all back into computers and the web, as that's really the subject of this website. This design only uses one photograph. Everything else is just type and some small round graphics I created in Adobe Illustrator, but you know, these graphics can very easily be created using Adobe Photoshop. There's nothing to stop you. So again, take a close look at what I've done here and I'm sure that you'll find something you can apply to your own work. Contrast is another key ingredient to a good design. Have a look at the headline in this design. You'll see I've gone from an extra bold typeface all the way through to a lightweight of exactly the same font. So you can see we've got the word key in a very heavy font, then you've got the word West in a bold font and the word publishing in a nice light font. And imagine what that would look like if I'd done it all bold. It wouldn't quite have looked as good. So by contrasting the weight of the font, that's just another little trick that you can use to give your design an extra element of depth to it and contrast. With majority of the designs that I create, I always break things up into different sections. So what I'm about to show you is how this particular header panel design has been divided up into 3 sections. So you see here we have section 1 and section 2 and finally section 3. The other 2 sections divided by 3 are the small photos and the Key West publishing title. So again we're applying the rule of 3 to within another design which also follows the same rule of 3. This is my favourite type of grid. Yes, it's 3 again. However, this time we have the title on the far left hand side. The reason why I like this format so much is because it's been proven in research that people's eyes start at the top left of the page. So what better place to include your website title or headline? Here again you'll notice the use of a background image to help break up the space and add another layer of interest. Keep your graphics as meaningful as you can. This project is all about travelling, so what better image to use than a compass and a map? Having a concept running through your designs is really very important. I've seen so many graphics online before that have just no concept or meaning or theme that links everything together, and so that can often be detrimental to the sales process as it creates a dissonance between the concept or lack of concept in the design and the idea of the product being sold and the concept of the sales page itself. So it's always something good to bear in mind, is to have a solid idea that helps to link everything you do together.